Repeat after me. I am learning to add two-digit numbers. That's what we're doing. We're adding two-digit numbers, so we're adding all the way up to 100. For our warm-up problem, we learned before we started adding two-digit numbers, we learned how to add a two-digit number and a one-digit number. And we learned one really important thing is that you group your ones together, right? So if we look at this problem, we have 35 plus 7. And I'm noticing there's a lot of ones. So I can see right away that I could probably break up my 7 so that these ones get moved over. So I have 5 here and 5 here. What does 5 and 5 make? 10. So I can break up my 7 into 5 and 2. That way, I can make a 10 with the 5 and the 5, which would give me 1, 2, 3, 4 10s. So 35 and 5 more would give me 40. And then I would just add my 2 extra ones, which would be 42. So 35 plus 7 is 42. Another way to think about this would have been to break up your 35 into 30 and 5, and then break up your 7, that's how the picture is broken up, into 5 and 2. Then you can see the 10 right here. 30, 10, and 2. So that is what we were working on with our two-digit and one-digit numbers. So you might want to think about this as we group 10s and 1s together today, or organize them so that they're together. We are working on page 673, so go ahead and turn to that if you're not already there. And here's our problem. How many shells in all? There's 24 shells here, 58 shells here. So what's this problem about? It's about shells, right? We have 24 shells, 58 shells. What are we trying to find out? How many shells in all? We want to know how many there are all together. And what's important to know if we want to figure out how many shells in all? We need to know how many shells are in this pile and how many shells are in this pile. There's 24 and there's 58. So we're going to use that information to help us figure out how many shells there are all together. You're going to try this problem on your own, and you may use base 10 blocks on iReady. You can use your 100 chart, number bonds, connecting cube. We don't have enough connecting cubes. So you could draw a picture on your whiteboard, or any of the strategies we've learned so far, stacking, any of that stuff to add your numbers together. Go ahead and solve that, see what you get, and then come back and check your work. So what you might have done, or what some of our classmates may have done, is draw the picture, which they would have done. And it's not a picture like this, because that is too hard to count. So what we would do is we would draw base 10 blocks to represent the picture. So 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I drew 24, and then I'm going to add 58. And you know that I like to stack my numbers on top of each other so that I can organize my 10s together and organize my 1s together. So 58 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 8 more. And I might put my 1s close together so I can see if there's a group of 10. So 8 more. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can see right away that there's a group of 10 here. Okay. So now I'm just going to count my 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 groups of 10. 8 10s, and then I have 2 extra ones. That makes 82. So 24 plus 58 equals 82. Another way you might have done this is by the stacking way that we learned, which was 24 is made up of 2 10s, 4 1s, and 58 is made up of 5 10s and 8 1s. And then you can add down. So 4 and 8. Well, I know that 8 and 2 would make 10, and then I'd have 2 left over because I'm supposed to add 4, so 10 and 2 is 12. So I would have 12 1s, which is too many, and 7 10s. And I know that 70, 7 10s, plus 12 is 82. And I know that because my 12 is made up of a 10 and a 2. Let's take a look at what the model it says. What do they want us to try to do? What's the model it? 24 plus 58. Oh, they actually did the strategy I just showed. It says add the 10s, then add the 1s. So they showed 24 broken up in a number bond, 20 and 4. They showed 58, 50 and 8. They stacked their 10s on top of each other. They stacked their 1s on top of each other. They also showed that 12 is made up of 1 10 and 2 1s. So you're going to make sure you group those 10s together so you can actually move this 10 over with the 7 10. So you actually have, you had 7 10s and you have an extra one down there, then you have 8 10s now, and then you'd have 2 extra ones. So 24 plus 58 is 82. 82 shells in all. So they used number bonds to break up the numbers, to separate the 10s and 1s, because you want to separate the 10s and 1s in this number so that you can group these ones with these ones. See how they did this? They grouped their 10s together here and grouped their 1s together here. So we're going to look at a couple of the apply it problems. This is problem number 3. Manny has 43 cards. Mark has 17 cards. How many cards in all? So we have two two-digit numbers that we're adding together to figure out how many in all. Complete the number bonds and fill in the blanks. Notice there's number bonds here that you're going to want to fill in, and then they also stacked your 10s together and stacked the 1s together. So 43 is the same as 40 plus 3 more. Our other number was 17. 17 is the same as 10 and 7. Now we have 4 10s, because this is 4 10s, and this is 1 10. So we have 4 10s plus 1 10, which is 5 10s. And we have 3 and 7, because those are our 1s. 3 and 7 make 10 1s. 5 10s is 50, plus 10 is 60. 50 plus 10 is 60. So there's 60 cards. So make sure you fill that in and get practice doing that. The other example I wanted to show you, I skipped over problem 4 and we're now on problem 5. I did that because this one's a little different and this one's actually really handy. So you're going to want to pay close attention to this. So we have 55 carrots. So I'm going to do my number bonds. Here's 55, then 38. I want you to do this with me. So after I get my number bonds drawn, I want you to pause and draw your own, or make sure you do this when you do problem number 5 on your own. 55 is made up of 50 and 5. 38 is made up of 30 and 8. And we're going to do just like we did on the last problem where we grouped our 10s together or stacked our 10s and stacked our 1s. Take a look over here. Instead of saying 5 10s, they just did 50. Instead of saying 3 10s, they just wrote 30. So we can think in our head 5 10s and 3 10s, but it's actually quicker to write 50 instead of writing 5 10s. We like quicker, right? So 50 plus 5, 30 plus 8. So you can see I'm still adding my 55 and 38. I'm just stacking my 10s and my 1s, so it's easier. My 8 and 5, you're going to add that together, put that answer here. 50 and 30, 5 10s plus 3 10s, and then write that number here. So this should look like 50 and 30 make 8 10s, which is 80. And then 8 and 5. Well, if I break up my 8 into 5 and 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, I know that 5 and 5 will be 10 plus 3 more, so that would be 13. And then you'll write your answer over here. So we did the same stacking way like we've been doing. The only difference is instead of writing 5 10s, 5 1s, we just wrote 50 plus 5. So we used the numbers from our number bond and we grouped our friendly numbers together and we grouped our 1s together, or we stacked them on top of each other. Now here's problem number 6, and I want you to try it on your own first. So it says find 14 plus 49. I want you to fill in your number bonds and then stack these numbers down here, the friendly numbers together, and stack the 1s together and see what you get. So try it on your own first. So you want 14 and 49. Those are your two numbers that you're adding together. 14 is made up of 10 and 4. 49 is made up of 40 and 9. Now we can stack our friendly numbers together. So let me do 14 first. 10. Oops, wrong color. So I'm going to do 10 plus 4 for my 14. Then I'm going to stack my 49. This is actually called expanded form. Can you say expanded form? It's where you just say the value of each digit. So we know that 110 is 10. We know that 4 is 4. And then we'll do 49 down here. So 40, stacking my friendly numbers or my 10s, lining those up, and then making sure to include the 1s. So now my 1s are organized together and my 10s or my friendly numbers are organized together. 4 and 9, what does that make? I know that 9 and 1 make 10, plus 3 more is 13. And then I can add 10 and 40, which is 50. Now I have 50 plus 13. So if you know that answer in your head, you can write it up there. If you're not sure, you can think about, well, 13 is made up of 10 and 3. Now you have 50, 10, and 3. So that's the last and the hardest apply it problem because you have to fill in all the number bonds and do all of this work on your own. But remember, we're just showing what we showed in the number bond and we're just organizing it in a way that our 1s are together and our 10s are together. Now that you've practiced that stacking way, and like I said, you could do 4 10s or you could just write 40, like so much easier. It's faster than writing 10s. So you have an exit ticket. You're going to break up 44, break up 29, and then you will show, here's where they do the stacking. They have their 40 and their 20 stacked on top of each other. And then you will have your 1s stacked on top of each other, your 1s that came from 44 and your 1s that came from 29. Okay, those will be stacked on top of each other. And then they added the 10s for you. Your job is to add those ones and then figure out what your final answer is. So every red box there is, you need to fill in. I would start here, work my way across, same here, okay? And if you're confused, just do the best you can, turn in what you have, and you're also welcome just to put the answer if you solved it in a different way on your own with using your own strategy. If this strategy is too hard for you, use a picture on your whiteboard and then just fill in the answer. And I'll know that you got the answer, but you don't have the strategy yet. Okay? Does that make sense? So do the best you can. Try to do this strategy. If you can't do this strategy, use your own strategy and just fill in your answer.